doing today. So I want to focus this, at least this morning session, really about real estate investing, kind of do's and don'ts. It is not lost on me that the stock market is up big today. Frankly, if it's up four digits today, that will be 5 out of 5 days. Um, I don't know what to say. We're certainly closer to a bottom, at the end of the week than we were at the beginning. I am still extremely disappointed in the powers that be to really recognize how we can sort of slow this down and really take a hold of it. That said, I still firmly believe eventually they'll get it right. Um, Part of me hopes it happens this weekend, but there's nothing that I see out there that lets me think that's coming. But I do have confidence that we will get through this. You're starting to see the pieces and framework kind of line up for us to get through this together. So I'm encouraged that. Oh, what is that? I unfortunately believe that there is more pain ahead. So I'm not going to talk about the stock market today. Today's going to be about real estate investing. I want to talk about kind of the do's and don'ts as I see this. Um, yep, I think we're talking about real estate now. So I actually believe the Fed's going to cut the full point. About a week ago, I was like, yep, half's a layup. Um, 3/4 is possible. At this point, why not go the whole? Why don't just pull pull the trigger that one last time, right? So I'm up for the Fed will lower rates a full percentage point, which I don't think I've ever seen, certainly since I've been watching the market. So rates are gonna get cheaper, but here's the reality. I don't know about you, but a lot of people that are following me are sharing that rates have gone up. So while the Fed is lowering rates, it is lowering them and being impacted by, the 10-year and all of that. So the Fed is getting the benefit. Corporate debt is up, as you would expect. There's a lot of people that have bad balance sheets, but also refinances, right? Where we were hoping as a real estate investors to see benefit, there's just too much demand. Everybody sort of lined up to refi their homes, so rates have gone up. So a full point cut could be fool's gold. Again, I don't think this is a liquidity or Wall Street problem. It's a Main Street problem. So lower rates will certainly help debt payments get better. A lot of this is attached to LIBOR and things of that nature. So it'll help for sure, but it's not the main crux. It is one small piece of what will be 10, 20, 30 little pieces that eventually lead us through this. And I don't see the big ones coming just yet. So back to real estate. Couple of things that we can say with confidence is rates are going to go lower. They may not go as low as we want or as fast as we want, but I would suspect rates are lower in June than they are today, right? Because they got to work through the demand backlog and all of those other things. Interesting to note that, just so you know, when people are refinancing this big, appraisals take longer and escrows take longer. So just plan for that because everything will need to be appraised, at least a drive-by appraisal. So don't be shocked if your refis take an extra week or two because all of the refi requests up here go down, and one of the single points is appraisers. So just FYI. The other thing that I think I can say with certainty, because I am seeing it, I don't know that enough people are talking about this. No, I don't. I'll talk. Yeah, I'll talk about that in a second. About banks. I think it is very clear that owner-occupant buyers are going to retreat. And I think that's going to be both on the sell side and buy side. I think there'll be some people rushing to do something in March, right? The month we're in. But I think by April or May, we are going to see less listings and we are going to see less buyers. In fact, I'm already hearing about escrows blowing up. I was reached over the last 2 days. I've heard about 4 different escrows that were at the closing table back out, and their buyers lost their deposit. These 4 purchases happen to be for $1 million homes in the Bay Area. So there are people that are nervous in the Bay Area, which they should be. They shouldn't have signed up for that crazy purchase, but right? We're going to hear about that more and more and more, in my opinion. So, um, the thing that I focus on, again, what I do with this channel and what I've done for 20 years is trying to figure out where the consumer is on greed and fear. We have gone from the top of the market where I was very clearly selling things, i.e., apartments, because people were being stupid and overpaying. And now they've gone to the other side. Prices are sticky on the way down. It's called price elasticity. But once they kind of let go of that, it can become a great buying opportunity. So I think there's lots of things that you should be doing now. If you have interest in real estate investing, if the stock market is just too freaking volatile for you, and you want to get you some of that good buy and hold rental properties, first off, you should, if you don't know already, you should check me out. There's a lot, I put out hours of content every week, so check me out. The best thing to do is read the book One Rental at a Time, because it kind of documents how I've used this strategy a couple of different times, and used it a third time since the book went out to make a lot of money, right? Because when you can invest ahead of the curve in the changing market, you can do really, really well. But before I get into the do's and don'ts, I want to answer the question that came across is, do I think banks will be hesitant to lend? No. I think the one thing that has already come out that's a kind of piece in the right direction is Treasury Munchin, I think his name is. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that. But the Treasury Secretary came out and said there'll be unlimited liquidity. So as long as the banks run their process, right, their little box, right, credit score, income, savings, all of that. Anybody who is qualified will get a loan. This is not 2010 where banks told me no, right? They just said no. Sorry, you're a real estate investor. We're not going to lend to you. So I don't see that happening. I think this 2020 thing is not 2010. So I expect the banks to lend. It's going to be slower. Certainly, if you're trying to refi today, it's going to be really slow. So be careful. So what do I recommend? Do's and don'ts. Sorry, 7 minutes to get to this. I apologize. The first thing you need to do is don't gamble. Don't rush. Remember, I know when I rush, it equals gambling, and I always make bad decisions. There will be a lot of dislocations in the market, which in real estate is a huge buying opportunity because it only takes one asset and one buyer to make a meaningful impact on your financial statement. I believe everybody should take a goal of getting at least one, if not two, great deals this year, preferably before October. Because I think your market, at least in most market, listings are going to drop, buyers will go away, and the things that will be left are motivated sellers. That's the magic in this business. If you can sell at or near the peak and then strike when motivated sellers are around, you're going to improve your financial future quickly, because we will get through this. In fact, I think we will get through this in a way that guarantees inflation. The big bugaboo that nobody is talking about today, I believe inflation is a real thing in 4, 5, 6 years. We are going to throw trillions of dollars at beating this thing, which we will, but sometimes the medicine hurts. And the medicine is going to have a side effect in the American economy, and it is going to be called inflation. Now, it may not be horrible inflation like the 80s you and I hear about all the time, but it is going to be bad. It will be 4, 5, 6% in 5 or 6 years. You just can't print all this money and not have it come eventually, right? Right now, people are going to conserve and stash away and blah, blah, blah. But again, fear and greed, right? The American consumer will eventually not be afraid, and they will go all in. And that's why I watch this stuff every day. So the reason you want to get ahead of this and you want to learn your market and do great deals today is you can lock in 30-year fixed rate mortgages in residential property. I am not, repeat, not recommending value add multifamily. In fact, I think that is one of the worst investments today. Again, watch what I do. I sold value add multifamily property. Thankfully, I sold that months ago, so I have the cash to deploy it somewhere else. So value add multifamily property as a GP or LP, general partner, limited partner, is not where I would want to be today. It is perhaps the worst place to be. So that's the first thing. Don't do that, in my opinion. Next up, when the thing to do is when you go ahead, yeah, yeah, rates are going to be low, man. Rates are going to be very low. So what I would be looking at is residential properties, residential. So 4 units and under, and you want to look for motivated sellers, but you've got to learn your market first. If you are investing out of area in a market you have never been to because you see others doing it, I believe you are about to be hurt. You need to have boots on the ground, double checking things. Going somewhere just because they're cheap, not always the right idea. We have a supply problem, a manufacturing problem. We have lots of stuff going on, and it could get pretty ugly. So be careful with out of state or out of area stuff. If you have boots on the ground, you have systems, you have all that, go for it. But I hear too many people, specifically in California, tell me, "Hey, I did so and so and so and so, and it's not working out." Well, do you have a team? Right? Do you, it's it's not as easy as they write about in the books, in my opinion. The next thing to do, so we'll kind of do don'ts and do's, I guess, is if you're going to invest, you need to invest in residential, as we talked about, but look for affordable houses. So what do I mean by affordable? It's tough in every market, but what I would tell you is find the median price wherever you are. In Fresno, just for example, it's 260 grand. Invest below that because that gives you the biggest cushion. And frankly, if the median in Fresno is 260, I want you investing 200 and below. You just get so much security 200 and below because they can't build houses for that. You get great income to debt ratios. It's just so safe. And again, if we're in a short-term dislocation, you invest at cash flows, no problem. People tell me that what happens if tenants lose their jobs in that market, that segment, you can always get a new tenant. Plus, a lot of the tenants in that market are on Social Security or Section 8 or whatever, and their income won't be dislocated. And I think I've said it on this channel several times, about 40% of my income comes from Section 8. Those checks are going to show up no matter what. So, um, it's not a bad place to be in that segment of the market. What I wouldn't do is Class A. I think that is the part of the market that could get hurt over the next 9 months. It'll be certainly where there's huge dislocation because Class A stuff is, you don't have to do Class A. You can trade down. You can be more conservative. And frankly, all the new builds are Class A, and people are competing for Class A, and it's just the demand supply balance is about to be disrupted, and Class A is not the place to be in this market, in multifamily or in single family, in my opinion. So, for example, if you are a flipper and you're flipping, again, to use Fresno just as an example, where the median is 260 and you're flipping $400,000 homes or above, I would be willing to bet a donut that your days on market is going to extend. Your cost of capital, carrying cost is going to extend, and your profit is going to go down every month. You don't have a plan B, right? You can't rent it to carry it out through this because your carrying cost is $4,000 and your rent would be 2,200. It helps, but it's just not there. You got to have multiple exit strategies. So I don't know that I would start. I don't think I would. I certainly wouldn't want to hold flips at that market, but I wouldn't be buying there yet either. That will be a great place to buy as we get later into the year, like September, October, as inventory there probably grows significantly, as we know who did and who didn't lose their jobs. But this is this is about being as safe as possible. And again, I got to tell you, it comes back to learning your market. One of the things, actually, I didn't know this when I wrote the book. I didn't know this for, frankly, the first year after it was published. But what's really in there is I called the market twice, and now I've called the market 3 times. And again, I'm talking about the real estate market. It's the only thing I watch every day. Back in 08 or 07, whenever it was, we sold our houses or exchanged them in apartments because I didn't know it at the time, but I was saying houses are too expensive. Great call. Market rolls over, can't get loans, everybody's saying no. We figure out a way to go all in. We borrow, we trade, we sell things that we can. We get private hard money. We go all in at what turns out to be the right time. Now, since then, we have, yes, I think so. Move up buyers will be better off in October then. Yes, I believe so. And then what will happen is what we've done since the book is, and you've seen it on this channel, so you can go back and check me out, is we were selling apartments because we felt they were overpriced. So again, I know I'm sharing my opinions. They're always just my opinions, but at least I have a track record of 3 pretty good calls. And again, folks, when the consumer changes, the owner occupant changes, there's huge opportunity. So watch your market. First, learn your market. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look below. There's a full freaking course of everything I do every day right there for you. Take advantage of this. If you're being told to work from home now, learn a new skill. Use this opportunity where you're less hectic, less commuting, less all these things to learn a market that can change your future. I firmly believe that we need to take a national holiday and all of those things, but that's not this discussion. But again, if you're going to be working from home and you're going to be having more time, because you're not going out and sporting events are changed, do yourself a favor. Learn your market. And I don't care if you buy my course or not, but learn your market so you can change your financial future. I want to help 1,000 people change their future. That's why I talk to you every day. So, links below. Check out the outline. You have time. I have 3 or 4 students that talk about how it created focus and confidence, and that's what I want for you. Focus. Real estate investing has so many things. Oh, Airbnb, land, mobile homes, multifamily, residential. Too many things. It creates focus, and most importantly, when you do the daily exercise that I talk about, your confidence will build. And right now is not the time to, if you don't know your market, you need to learn it first. So you need to spend March and April learning your market. So that's what I got. So again, I guess what I'm talking about is what I see is inflation coming, and you need to learn your market, buy affordable homes. You have multiple exits, play below the median, be safe. I'm going to buy more houses this year than I bought in 18 and 19. I am convinced of that. I closed on a house Monday that is a very nice house that will be either a great rental or a great flip. I haven't decided what to do. Picked it up for $98,000 in a market where ARV is like 170, 175, just to give you some numbers. So again, real estate investing, much more stable, tax incentives, fixed rate debt. Oh, that's the thing. Fixed rate 30-year loans, residential, in an inflationary environment in 5 or 6 years. I mean, the wealth that you can create if you take the time to learn your market and only do great deals is phenomenal, right? So what you'll learn if you take the time to learn your market is bad, average, good, and great. Let's just do good and great deals going forward. So in the end, it's going to be an interesting time. We're not at the bottom yet. There's a big dislocation. I think owner occupants are going to continue to either blow up transactions or walk away, and we're going to change some financial futures. The people that buy stuff this year are going to have the best debt they've ever had, and they're going to have the inflation at their back going forward. So I'm extremely excited about what's coming, and I will be sharing with you as we go throughout the year. Have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye.